Adjust the camera. Look at this Christmas tree of boxes. This is lovely. This is very well taped. Jesus. I can't even see the seams. One of these days I'm gonna get a new blade for this. I may have to buy them. Like, it's just, they're in the basement somewhere. I don't even know if I've changed the blade since I moved. She's seen better days. Oh, just what I wanted for Christmas. Anger. Mistrust of the human race. Fuck off, packing peanuts. Nobody loves you. Oh, this is tubes. This is more of Joe's tubes. We got them tubes, bruh. Make sure there's nothing else in here. Don't lose one. If you lose one, the game is over. So these are Langrex vintage electronics. Millard tubes. Mullard electronic valve. Are these really vintage? They're brand new boxes. 67, 64, 66, 67, 70, 68, 70, 68. Those are values. Like people should have. People used to have values. Remember when people had values in my country? I'm just going to take one out and show you. Actually, I can show you which amp it's for. The big fucker here. The Felix. Like a phallic, but Felix. Basically a dark voice on crack. These big boy tubes. Made in Great Britain. Millard BVA 6080. Alright. So I've given them, they have PS vanes, which are like a new Chinese tube manufacturer. So Joe, the guy who bought the thing, is like, no, that won't do. Give me all the fucking extra tubes. So those get to go there. We'll give those a run. These might also be tubes, because I don't think I have anything else that's that small showing up. And light. This Princess Pasta's in here. Princess Pasta just spits in a box and sends it to me. Lovely day. Wow, you guys are in for a treat. The hell is this? The Arc Mini. Observer of caution for handling electrostatic sensitive devices. The fuck is the Arc Mini? Oh, am I allowed to show this? This feels like a prototype. Like I don't... Oh, this might be the Mayflower Arc, but mini. Interesting. So what do we have here? It doesn't say Mayflower on it. Does the box say Mayflower on it? Hold, please. Yep. It does. Well, it says Tyler, but Tyler's the guy who works at Mayflower. So I don't know if I can show you this. This is... I like the new design. It's very unfortunate that it only has a 3.5mm output in the front. I prefer 1/4" just for longevity's sake. These things tend to break. We've got an LED there. We have a DSP on and off button, which is very, very, for the weight of the unit, which is not a lot. It's a very hard to push button. So that you literally can't. Like you're gonna have to hit it against a thing, and even then it's like, and there's one on the back too. I guess the goal is to have you push down and do it. So at least you could do that. On, off, min, max. Very smooth knob. I love their knob. Then we have PS or USB. So in its PS or PlayStation, there's USB, and there's a picture of a 3.5mm. Is that microphone or pass through? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out when I play with it. But let's get to the big box, because Daddy needs to open this. Daddy, please open the big box. It's Christmas morning, Daddy. And this is another one of those like, oh, Zeos, are you building stuff on a rack? Not in the country of Iraq. Are you building on a rack? Yes? Well, then you need to spend money on rack things. So here is a rack mount. Jesus fucking Christ, heavy. It's starting again. And everyone's like, get a burn bin, get a burn bin. Oh, I got 2 items in this. Sweet. I didn't actually need to buy this because then I decided to go with the vented one to cover the tubes instead of just a solid. But this is AC Infinity 1U cover, which again, you got a rack? Let me just charge you a fuckload of money for everything to do with your rack. So here's your mounting hardware. And AC Infinity is lovely because they don't just sell like parts for your rack. They sell fucking really nice aluminum, like fucking nice aluminum parts for your rack that look like fucking nice aluminum things. So your rack doesn't look like shit. And if you're doing a rack like I'm doing where it's like it's gonna be in camera, you spend the money. This is like $20 or $23, some absurdly high amount of money for this piece of metal. But I mean, fuck, it's pretty. Magnets won't work on that. But look, it came wrapped up, it came in a bag. It comes with this bespoke hardware. And below that rack, actually, I don't think this UPS is going on either of the racks that are by my desk, because UPS is bad for audio equipment, apparently. This, give me the English side, is the UPS system protect your equipment Tripp Lite. I've got a bunch of, you can have the argument in the comments of this video if you're here. I've had the arguments that Tripp Lite is stupid, that APC is stupid, and that, what's it called? CyberPower, which is the ones I've been using, their UPS are stupid. Everything's stupid. Everyone hates everybody else. They've either had nightmare problems with APC, or nightmare problems with CyberPower, or probably nightmare problems with Tripp Lite. But this was one of the more affordable. And if you look at click the link in the description, you'll see exactly how not that affordable this fucking thing was. But I wanted a rack mount one because I'm tired of just having boxes sitting on the floor. Because now that I moved my computer up here, I'm going to take the UPS I was using downstairs for like everything. I'm going to bring it up here because it's a little tiny one. And this fucking monster can go downstairs and run my NAS, my networking equipment, my projector. Those are big things that need a UPS. And then my computer that's up here does not have a UPS. Comes with 4 feet, 4 big silicone feet. They're like half-size domes. A standard USB cable. A serial cable. This thing has a serial cable on it. Here are our rack ears. We're gonna have to install those, it looks like. Okay, this is one of those things where I have to stand it up. Oh! It's like it's filled with car batteries. Come on, you bitch. Oh, by the way, tonight was movie night, and we watched Empire Records, and I'd never seen it, and it's a 1990s film. And I'm pretty sure if I was a child and I had seen Empire Records, I would have really liked that movie. But I'm an adult, and I'm just looking at this movie going, stop being stupid, you moron. So I think that's the deciding factor of adulthood. Is you watch a movie from the 90s where 90s kids are doing 90s kids things that it's super rad, and you're like, shut the fuck up, Liv Tyler, you're stupid. Stop being stupid. God, this thing is... You know what? I actually hear things moving around in there, and it doesn't make me happy. Okay. Although Renee Zellweger was a turbo slut. She, like, Liv Tyler called Renee Zellweger a turbo slut. And then because she was angry, she went and fucked an aging rock star. Not Liv Tyler, but Renee Zellweger, who's a turbo slut. So it's like, well, you just proved that you are. And then there was a whole like heartwarming scene where she explains how, well, I don't want to be this way. I want to be a singer. And no one's even like bringing up the fact that some middle-aged guy just banged her in the back of a thing, and we don't even know if she's of age. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Oh, and then a kid walked in with a gun. A kid that tried to shoplift was like, I'll be back. I'm gonna fuck you up. And he comes back with a gun this big and like is gonna start shooting this giant handgun, not a toy. And it turns out it was loaded with blanks. And then they give him a job because maybe he just wants to work at the record store to be cool. And the cops show up and like, well, since it was blanks, you know, he didn't really break the law. Motherfucker, he walked into a store with customers. It wasn't even like the movie was like, oh, only the employees were there, and, you know, and they had heartfelt feelings for this kid. No, no, no. He just started shooting. It's a fucking, it's the fucking Danny DeVito fucking meme. So I just started blasting. He just comes in, there's like 30 people on the floor and they're all covering their heads. And the cop's just like, he'll be fine. You can come pick him up later. That's not good. Why are you busted? I mean, I don't think it's broken. It's just, there's many loose, it's loosey-goosey. Is that loose? Is that screw loose? How does this work? I see, I grabbed it and it says that. I could see there's like, that moves. Or maybe this Tripp Lite was a bad idea. I mean, I'm going to give it a little bit of like, all right, whatevs, dog, as long as she works. Because it's going to be rack mount anyway. It's not like it's going to matter. I'd rather not have it be. It's so fucking heavy. Oh, God. Oh, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. I don't want to put it on the, its cord. There we go. So the fascia looks like an alarm clock. Looks like an air filter. We've got a fan here. Input, output, load, test battery runtime, 123 kilowatts per hour / day, percent hertz minimum sensitivity, events scroll, battery capacity, plug, no battery, eco, silent alarm. Let's put this there. We have a power and mode button. Oh. Wow. Did I just fuck the screen up permanently by touching it? Oh, you could rotate it to stand it up. Interesting. You know what's less interesting? The fact that I touched it for 2 seconds. And I could still see the marks where I touched it on the screen. Like I fucked the screen up, like it's gonna wake up or something. It's not staying on. We'll see if I plug it in. Let's do this live. Fuck it, we're doing it live. This thing is so heavy, by the way. This has to weigh 30 pounds. Oh, 25 pounds? I still don't like the way that the case is just not... The case is not being friendly. It's got an interesting 45-degree plug. I hate when they pick a direction. Like, how do you know that's the direction I want to go? Okay. She clicked. The screen is cleared up. 118 volts. Battery capacity full. Is it going to run those fans all the fucking time? Hitting the mute button makes it beep. Mode, batteries at 96%. It's on. Oh. Alert on or off. I'm gonna leave that on. Scroll on. Test bat. LCD. Sensitivity 100. External battery, no. I'm hoping when this thing charges to 100%, that fan shuts off, because it's gonna be real fucking annoying. That fan is running all the fucking time and there's no load. Like, there's obviously no load. Load 0%. Watts. Battery 96. I guess when the battery gets to 100, we'll see if it stops making noise. In the meantime, I do have to install these because I guess this just pops off. How does it pop off though? Yeah, this is gonna pop off. This already is missing a thing. Yeah, that'll just go on there like that. That gets mounted, and this has to get popped off. Top and bottom. So the fan doesn't turn off because this might be one of those units that's constantly drawing from the batteries. In other words, most UPSs just instantly switch. They have power, and they just run it through, and then go, oh, I gotta run off the batteries. And then they switch, and then the fan comes on when it's, in use. But this one might have the fan on in use all the time. So I opened it up. It's got very big coils here. And here's the 80mm fan. An ADA brushless. ADA brushless? Which, by the way, this thing is really... the cost I spent on it is not worth to put only a 1500 thing into this sort of like shitty plastic chassis. Like, I don't even know. Like, look, the batteries aren't even like there's a door that comes off. Where the fuck is it? Here. This door is here and it's screwed on and this like goes in. But there's nothing, there's no security for like the batteries that are just wiggling around. I mean, I wish this was built better. Like just the type of plastic, I feel like I could just snap all this plastic in half. It's like $250 for this fucking thing. Because it's a rack mount Tripp Lite. And I would almost return it. But I have this thing about not fucking the environment since I have a loud, fucked up car. And just shipping this back on Amazon's dime and then having Tripp Lite go and either restocking it or calling it, it's not worth it. I'm just I'm sure it works fine. I'm gonna chop, because I can't disconnect the fan because it's soldered onto the board. I'm gonna just chop that wire and attach a Noctua fan. Here, let's not get electrocuted on Christmas Eve. Where is it? It's on. It's a loud little fucker. It's not even attached, by the way. This fan doesn't even have mounts. It just fell in here. So part of the reason it's loud is because it's a shitty fan. Another part of the reason it's loud is it just falls in here behind some grills. Here. It's louder than my projector. I cannot have that. What I could do, so they fake this grill here, otherwise I could put fans on the outside. I can't turn off the fan. Obviously it's running a fan. Also, who designed this to have these verticals not where the fucking fan is blowing? Like, you should have it blow through those. I will see if I can improve this thing. But this has got to go first. I'm going to go see if I have a Noctua fan in the basement. Need an 80mm Noctua fan or some other high-end 80mm fan. And then once that's done, I'll decide. Because this whole plate just comes off. Maybe I'll run it faceless. Because this is not structural. There's nothing structural about this. I'll just pop this fucking thing out. Which actually I can't, because I have to unplug that. And then just have it so it's just a big open fucking thing. And I don't know. I also don't trust, like, the only metal parts are the rack mount ears they have me screw into the plastic, which I should have realized the thing was messed up. When the screws are not machine screws, like, it's just rough threading screws to go into plastic. So this is sort of like a mini review of this Tripp Lite. Do better, Tripp Lite. You make me want to go buy an APC or a goddamn CyberPower. I figured Tripp Lite would be like, oh, that's the brand. That's the brand. Yeah, your noisy ass fan is killing my zen, bro. I don't live in a data center. Yeah, now I just ground out the fan. That's fine. It's all right. That's that. I'm sure it works. It's just, this is fucking, none of this feels worth the money. But I like things that need to be helped. And then I'll give it like a 3-star review on Amazon. Okay, guess what I just figured out now that I shut the camera off? That's a 24 volt fan. 24 volt DC. Fuck. I mean, that means if I put a 12 volt fan in there, it's gonna run at half power. But I can't that under my projector. I can't. It's gonna be right near my home theater. I'm gonna be listening to music, and this is 24 hours a day. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I can't have it. Maybe I'll put an array of fans back here that are 12 volt and just plug them into the fucking board. Which, by the way, did I ever show you the board? It's only 8 plugs, which is for the size of this unit. 8's not a lot. What? Cat fade. Cat fade. So then I realized that a 24 volt fan means it's going to be feeding at 24 volts, so I can't even put a 12 volt fan unless I put a resistor in line. And then I'm like, well, I don't trust it's the rack mount thing, so I have this thing in the basement now for like, I was going to put my computer in here years ago, and I found this fucking thing, and I forget how much I paid, like 50 bucks. And it's all galvanized steel with rails and vents, and it's just metal. Like, it's all metal. It's just all metal. It's this all metal thing with these nice aluminum flush plate covers for the sides. And I'm like, oh, I'll just put the whole unit inside of this. And then I'm realizing, well, A, it's not going to fit because this is rack mount width and that's rack mount width. So it gets like that close. And then it just doesn't want to go anymore. And that's with just a plate. And I'm like, this fucking thing, what the fucking... So I might as well just build one of these. So that might be a mad science hour. My friend might hook me up. Because, I mean, I could just put a fucking 120 millimeter fan. If I leave the cover off and it's in there, mount a 120 millimeter fan, like right above this. It's blowing straight down. Or lifting straight up. I don't know. What do you guys figure on that? But, see, I can't buy that. I mean, I probably can buy that, but then I'm like the design of the circuit board, and I don't mind that it's one of the ones that's like all the way through. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna power some audio equipment with it and see if it's noisy. If this isn't noisy, because I don't think it said pure sine wave anywhere in the box, but if it isn't noisy, I'll keep it and do whatever. Work through blackouts, high power conditions, battery backup, tell an Ethernet line, USB. Ultimate lifetime insurance covers connected equipment against surge damage. I wonder if since I ripped it apart, if that would still apply. Doesn't say anything on here about anything about sine wave. I mean, I didn't buy it for sine wave stuff, but it's going to be in my basement, and I'm probably going to have computers. Computers and networking stuff is fine. Any audio equipment, though, I don't think I'm hooking up to this. But it's going to be on the bottom of my rack. So I got to figure out what I'm doing. So I'm going to talk to my friend Dan the man from Japan, IT man, and see what he thinks. Because he's like, nah, don't buy those. Those are all shit. I'll build you one. So now if I have this and return this, and then the batteries are cheap. It's like $30 a piece maybe. We'll see what we could do. Oh, the final chapter in this saga is send this fucking thing back. Tripp Lite is garbage. And it's basically like... For this amount of money, I talked to Dan, the IT man over there, 496, and he's like, yeah, look, every time I've dealt with a Tripp Lite, I feel like I get ripped off. And I feel like I get ripped off. I spent money on this, and it's like, they're spending like $4 to build a case to hold like these heavy components that it feels like it's gonna shatter at any point. They can't even secure the batteries right. Why do they deserve my money? Tripp Lite needs to straighten their shit out. I bought one of their power plug racks. There's just a bunch of plugs on it, and that seems fine. That's metal at least. This is just, I mean, it's all garbage. So I'm gonna return this, and I'll either build one, or my friend says you could just go on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and find a old, better, like APC one, like a huge one, and just replace the batteries. And for the $250 I spent on this fucking thing, yeah, I could probably buy a $100 used broken one, and then $150 in batteries, and be way, way better off and happier. So, fuck this. Moving on.